It's not your job to make someone else love you. It's your job to love yourself so much that someone else can't help loving you. In Romeo and Juliet, when Romeo was banished from Verona, he said, "Be merciful and say death. Exile is worse than death." So centuries have passed, but really hardly anything has changed. We are still scared of rejection. We still feel that rejection will kill us. We will die if someone rejects us. We will fall apart. Helped, of course, by all the songs that say, "I'll die if you leave me. I can't live without you. My life is empty without you." And now we have so many new ways of being rejected. We get rejected on social media. We get excluded from groups. We get ghosted by someone. There are so many new ways to reject someone. Maybe it can just be an algorithm from social media that gives you a faceless rejection, but rejection hurts us. We think we're fragile, and we still believe that rejection can destroy us. It happens because when we are born, we have a powerful need to survive on the planet. And in order to survive, we have two other powerful needs. The first one is I must find and maintain connection. And the second one is I must avoid rejection at all costs. Whether you're a baby child or a baby rabbit or a baby cat, you innately know if I'm connected to my parent, I will survive. And if I'm not connected, I won't. And so we are hardwired to avoid rejection at any cost, to avoid being bullied, to avoid being left out. We're also hardwired, as vexing as it may seem, to go back and find what is familiar and to avoid what is unfamiliar. The mind is always looking to repeat what is familiar while avoiding what is unfamiliar. So here's an example. Someone has a very cold, distant father. And guess what kind of person they're attracted to? Of course, someone cold and distant, because they're going to spend all their time making that person warm and friendly. Often people say, I was sitting in a bar and I met this guy and we just clicked immediately. I felt like I'd known him all my life. That's because he reminded you of your dad. He was charming, but withholding. And now you find a charming, withholding person who you're trying to make a giving person because you're trying to create what is familiar and change the ending. And life is way too short to change the ending. You've got to change the beginning. Find someone who's lovable and will love you and is worthy of being loved. But we fall into these old patterns over and over again. I like the bad boys. I like cold, unavailable women. I like people who make me work for love. Why would you want to work for love when you are lovable? Well, you know why, because it's been familiar. My dad was a head teacher, and I saw that in myself, always feeling the need to earn someone's approval, finding people that were far too busy to give me the love I was worthy of. But that was familiar. Oh, I've got to earn this. I've got to show that I'm smart, that I'm worthy. But I never had to do that. I just didn't know that then, but I know it now. And I want you to know it too. It's also the reason we stay in a relationship that we know is not serving us. It's why we go back. Oh, better the devil, you know. I was too scared of leaving in case I was a man. Who's going to take on someone with 3 kids and cellulite? This fear of the unfamiliar and the belief that familiar keeps us safe allows us to be in a relationship that doesn't serve us, to stay in a relationship that's not working, to go back to a relationship that doesn't work, and to never meet the people that could truly love us, but to settle for something less because that was what was familiar. I was never the favorite kid. I always had to work for love. I always felt I disappointed my parents. Can you see that pattern playing out in a relationship? It's something I see every day in my office, and it's so frustrating and sometimes so heartbreaking to see people accepting so much less than their worth for one reason only. It's always been like this. It feels familiar. I've never known better. I worked with a girl once, and I really worked hard to make her feel amazing. And she said it was incredible. I went out. Amazingly, I met this great guy. He was so nice. He picked me up. He took me out. He paid for everything. He gave me so many compliments. I'm never seeing him again. I said, why? She went, oh, he was too good for me. And I said, let's really listen to what you're saying. What you're saying actually is his behavior was so unfamiliar. The niceness, the attentiveness. I didn't even recognize that. I've never had that before. My instinct was to run back to what I know, an unattentive guy that puts me down only because it's familiar. And I said, no, let's make it familiar. And she did, and she's still married to him to this day because she realized, oh, he is unfamiliar. Distant guys are familiar, but I can choose to make the nice behavior familiar and the uncaring behavior unfamiliar. I had to do that. And I'm now blissfully, happily married because I made that choice. Let's make someone who isn't making me feel worthy unfamiliar, and someone who can and will and does familiar. And you can do it too. It's really easy when you know how. And when you know how is when you get to the root cause of your feelings about rejection. And that can be a childhood trauma, it can be a negative experience, it can be as simple as never being picked for the team, never having someone to go to prom with, never feeling like the cutest kid in the class, being last. It can be something as familiar as a parent who was always working and a kid thinks, oh, my mum's never here, she's always at work. Oh, I guess work is more important than me. You see, when a child doesn't have attentive parents, the saddest thing is they don't stop loving that parent. They immediately stop loving themselves. They stop believing they are worthy of love and deserving of love. If I don't have a dad, if my dad doesn't see me, if my mum prefers my brother or my sister, if my mum is always at work, I guess I'm not worthy of love, because a child before the age of 5 has no logic. They only have emotion. They only have feeling. I feel my parent isn't with me, and that must be because I'm not lovable enough. Also, when you're a kid, if you work out that your mother is mentally ill, that your father's a chronic drunk, that your mother is unfulfilled or depressed or unhappy, that is terrifying because you're dependent. Much better to think, oh, it's my fault. It's my fault because I'm not enough. Because you can, in a child's mind, you can work on that and you can change that. I'll be smarter. I'll be kinder. I'll be better. I'll be good. I'll get better grades. And then I'll be lovable. And when you do, but nothing happens, then you get what I call learned hopelessness and helplessness. So I did that, didn't work. So now I've got the unspeakable truth. I know now that I'm unlovable, and it will always be like this. It will be like this for the rest of my life. I can't change it. I can't fix it. And you may be shocked to know that 90% of our adult life is dictated by the subconscious patterns we learned as a child and by the decisions that we didn't even know we were making when we were a child, the thoughts we thought, the decisions we made, the beliefs we formed. We've been on the planet for such a short time that we didn't even know, oh, that belief's going to color my whole life. Sadly, yes, except now, today, you can change it. There are techniques that can free you completely from these deep-rooted beliefs and allow you to become rejection-proof, bulletproof against rejection. Let's take a look at them right now. If you're the kind of person who needs approval, who seeks approval, who says things like, am I okay? Did I do okay? Do I look okay? Are you sure? if you're looking for other people to make you feel worthy, if your behavior is a behavior that's all about avoiding rejection and leads you to do things that aren't in your best interest, if you're always lending people money, giving them your time, looking after their kids, going out of your way to please someone, giving too much, even at work, then you need to understand you have given someone else the power for you to decide how you feel about yourself. If you're always checking, how many likes have I got on social media? How many people like my post? How many comments have I got? And the way to stop that is to powerfully, dramatically, and permanently increase your own sense of self-worth and self-image when you massively increase what you believe about you. Everyone around you will also increase their sense of your worth and your value. As you learn how to increase your perception of who you are, everyone around you increases their perception of who you are. But sadly, when you're working for love and trying to earn love, you give off an energy that says, oh, please love me, please approve of me. I need your approval so much. When you approve of yourself, you give off an energy that says, hey, I really like myself and I'm glad you do too. And if you don't, it's okay, because I like myself. And that's where I want you to be every day, all the time. And technique 2 is to really understand the rules of your mind. And here is the powerful rule of your mind. I know I already referred to it, but hey, another rule of your mind is the mind learns by repetition. And you have to understand that your primitive mind is hardwired to run back to what is familiar and to avoid what is unfamiliar. That's why when you have a 2-year-old kid, they go, I don't want that yogurt, it's got lumps in it. I don't like that, it's the wrong color. What they're saying is, I've never eaten that before. It's unfamiliar, and my 2-year-old brain is already wired to only eat what I know. You know why? Because years ago, that stopped me being poisoned. I wouldn't pick stuff from bushes and eat it unless I already knew it. So this going back to what's familiar used to keep us alive. Imagine you live in a fort on the prairie. You're not going to go, hey, I'm really bored. I think I'll go and hang out with some Indians instead, because you might get killed. So years ago, what was familiar made us safe. What was unfamiliar could make us very unsafe. And to this day, we're scared of what's unfamiliar and reassured by what we know. Here comes that phrase again, better the devil you know. But here's a fact, you can make anything you like familiar. Imagine putting a bit of silicone on your finger and shoving it in your eye. How unfamiliar is that? But if you do it every day, you get used to shoving a lens in your eye, and even more unfamiliar, taking your fingers and squeezing that lens off. And if you can make that familiar, you can make finding the love of your life and building an amazing relationship that lasts forever familiar too. And one of the ways we make something familiar is understanding another rule of the mind. The way you feel about anything is down to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. And guess what? You have the freedom to change those pictures, to change those words anytime. I'm going to go on a date, but I always get ghosted. I always get dumped. Who's going to want me? I've got 2 kids. I've got cellular. I don't have a great job. I haven't got a 6-pack. I don't work out. Imagine changing that. I am lovable and worthy of love. I'm warm. I'm caring. I've got so many great qualities. And if you can think about your great qualities every time you go on a date, you're unconsciously, powerfully filling up your mind with that. And the person you're on a date with cannot help but pick that up. And many people do this, go, okay, what do I want in a partner? And they list everything they want. But how about listing what you have to offer? Thinking, okay, I want this in a partner. This is what I want. And the kind of person I want, what do they want? They want me. I've got what they have to offer. When you believe that, you make it real, when you absolutely believe that you have something incredible to offer someone and it's part of who you are, when you believe it, they believe it because your thoughts resonate from you as a kind of energy that other people pick up. And here's technique 3. You cannot fear rejection while accepting yourself. Here's a rule of the mind. The mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. It can't even hold conflicting thoughts. When you're saying, I'm lovable, I'm amazing, I'm worthy, I've got something to offer, I'm warm, I'm interesting, I'm kind, I have something. What I want wants me. What I am moving towards is moving to me like a magnet. When you say that, you can't also think, yeah, but what if I get dumped? What if I'm not good enough? What if they leave me? What if? And if during a past relationship you were left, please remember something. Let's say your partner left you, but they loved you once. They used to ring up just to hear your voice. They sent you little cards going, I love you so much. I'm so lucky to have met you. And when they packed their bag and left, they didn't pack up everything they once loved in you in their bag and take it with them. Everything they loved in you once is still in you. That relationship may have run out of steam. Something may have happened. Even if they cheated, it doesn't take away from the fact that what they loved you once is still inside of you. And it's not their job to put it back. It's your job to reactivate, remanifest, regenerate, and recreate that lovability that you've always had. You had it when you were born, and you had it when someone loved you once, and you're going to have it again. The way to have it again is to accept yourself, to accept you're lovable, to believe you're lovable, to know with unshakable conviction that you are lovable. Don't even quantify it. You are lovable, and you know it. Even if you have to fake it until you make it, when you repeat it, you'll find that other people start to see just how lovable you are. People say to me, no, it's so ironic. I didn't have a date for 3 years. I met someone, and a week later, I found all these people hitting on me. The day I got engaged, I went to the airport. I was going to see a client. I checked in my bag. And as I came out, I think this guy ran up and went, hey, did you leave this bit of paper on the belt? And I said, no. And he went, oh, are you sure? And then he said, hey, can I have your number? And I said, I'm really sorry, but I'm engaged, I'm getting married. And that had never happened to me ever. And I flew to see clients every month, and I knew what happened. Someone said to me, hey, I want to marry you. I can't live my life without you. You're amazing. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Here's that song I'm hearing in my head now by Paul Weller. You're the best thing that ever happened to me and my world, so don't go away. And because I felt so lovable, this guy in the line picked that up and went, oh, I want to know that person. There's something about you. And he ran after me and he hit on me. He was very nice, but I was already taken. So think about the song. What would you love someone to sing at your wedding to you? What would be your song? And imagine someone singing it to you now. And that's a great song. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. My wedding song was a song my mum used to sing called This Guy's in Love with You. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Take your pick. But when you accept yourself as lovable, other people will accept it too. It's not your job to make someone else love you. It's your job to love yourself so much that someone else can't help loving you. And here's that Andy Williams song, I can't help falling in love with you. And you can do that. Those exercises we just did are just a little taste of the many powerful transforming exercises that I do with you in my 21-day relationship challenge. And if you'd love to learn more about becoming rejection-proof, bulletproof, finding and maintaining love forever, join me in this challenge today, because it might be the best thing you ever did. check out my next video here. Marilyn Monroe was such an example of someone who looked out there. She believed, if I become rich and famous and beautiful, then surely I'll feel lovable. And I've seen many, many clients who say, but no one loves me. I can't find love.